Good morning, everyone. So, what is the best mic to use for voiceover? Let's talk about it. So, the big question is this: how do voiceover artists like us who are looking to take our careers to the next level, but don't buy into the claims of needing expensive equipment and demos, start bringing in new clients? How do you follow a clear path to changing your voiceover side hustle into your full-time job and stick it to those that said you couldn't? Those are the questions, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Earl Hall, and welcome to In the Booth with Earl Hall, where we know how to grind and don't quit. Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome into the show. Thanks so much for being here in the booth with Earl Hall, where I'm going to talk to you about how to start, build, and grow a successful voiceover career. I've been getting a bunch of email over the past couple of weeks with people asking questions about microphones, their recording space, and things of that nature. One of the most recent ones I got was actually a YouTube comment, I believe from last week. And someone's having trouble with ambient noise, basically noise from the street, things of that nature. So we're going to get into that. Something that might make all of you extremely happy is that I think I told you on yesterday that over the weekend I applied to be a VO on Voice Bunny as well as Buldago. Haven't heard back from Buldago, but I was rejected by Voice Bunny. My recording was rejected by Voice Bunny, and they gave me an explanation. They said that at the 15-second mark, there was a noise. Now, I have no idea what that noise was. I haven't even gone back to listen to it or whatever. But, you know, it could have been my piece of paper I was holding, hitting the microphone. It could have been anything. But, hey, they have standards, and we all have to live up to the standards. So if I can be rejected, please don't feel bad if you've been rejected by Voice Bunny. And all of you that have been accepted by Voice Bunny, kudos and everything. It was... You know, when I did the audition or whatever, the little test that Voice Bunny gives you, all I did was, you know, I read the script. Oh, actually, I still have it here. Still have the script here from Voice Bunny that I did. I know the read was pretty much on point, but they say that they don't want you to process it. They don't want you to do anything. They basically just want the raw audio. So that's what I sent them. I didn't take out any noise. But I don't have... You know, they said you have to have a noise floor of, I believe, below negative 60 dB, which was fine for my recording space. But I either bumped the mic, something, I have no idea. But I was rejected because of that little noise at the 15-second mark. So anyway, if I can be rejected, hey, don't feel bad, right? So still waiting to hear back from Buldago on whether or not I will get accepted there. But at any rate, this is why I'm always talking about multiple streams of income. Luckily, I don't have to rely on Buldago or Voice Bunny. I get work all the time. So, but it's always good to have other streams of revenue coming in, which I'm always looking for. I wasn't on those particular sites, and I hear you guys talking about them all the time. So I said, hey, I'll give it a shot, but I wasn't good enough. I wish I had some sound effects on this for people crying for me or whatever. But at any rate, full disclosure about everything that goes on here. But the emails that I've been getting centered around noise. Basically why I got rejected from Voice Bunny. But basically noise, like, you know, you're in your home recording area and, you know, you might be close to a street or something like that. And it goes along with the whole reason why I wanted to do this show. It's Tech Tuesday, the hashtag Tech Tuesday out there. But wanted to talk a little bit about microphones in conjunction with your recording space and what might work better than something else. You know, if you guys would put up in the chat, if, you know, what type of microphone you're using. Let me know what type of mic that you're using in the chat. And that might spark some other questions and comments from me in regards to how to address this topic of what is the best microphone to use for voiceover. Obviously, this is all going to come down to your recording space. Some people, I think, are worried way too much about noise. What do you call it? Basically, not allowing any noise. What is the word I'm thinking of here that I can't think? Soundproof. Yeah. Uh, they want to be soundproof, which in a home recording studio environment, unless you have a booth, is pretty much you can't do it without a booth. So that's not something that most folks have to contend with. So if you don't have a soundproof environment, most home studios don't unless they have a booth. What you want to mainly be concerned with is the treatment of your recording space. And you hear me talk about this a lot. You want to make sure that you have soft surfaces around. You don't want flat walls because your voice is going to bounce off of that and it's going to get back into your microphone. So soft surfaces is king when it comes to all of that. Now, if you've got the soft surfaces, but let's say your house or wherever is close to a busy street, you have to contend with that, either by recording late at night or whenever the traffic dies down, or recording between the times that a bus or a truck is roaring by, your home. And so everyone with a home studio has to contend with that once again, unless you do have soundproofing with a booth. That is pretty good. The thing about the microphone, though, and here's the thing about that. I see that Scott, he uses a TLM 102. Great microphone. All right. Now, a TLM 102 is going to have a pretty big element on the inside that's going to record your voice. And when you look into your microphone, you see that round element. That's the recording surface. That's the thing that's catching your voice and all of the other noise. When you're using a condenser microphone that has that large, basically mic inside of it, that large element, it's made to capture noise. It wants to capture every little thing. That is one of the things about condenser microphones that can help or hurt, depending on your recording environment. So when you have that large element on the inside that is capturing your voice, it's capturing a lot of stuff. So if you're in a big open space, or let's say you're in your basement and the heat kicks on or the AC kicks on, 9 times out of 10 it's going to capture that. If you are in your basement and your family is above you and it's the middle of a Saturday and you're trying to record and they're walking across the floor, that mic is going to capture it. The better the mic, the better it's going to capture sound. And that's what it's there for, to capture sound. And that's one of the issues that you run into with using a condenser microphone, because that's what it's built to do. Obviously, if you're using a condenser microphone inside of a booth, you're not going to have those issues, or at least you shouldn't have those issues if it's a good booth. Now, and you also have the dynamic microphones. This is a dynamic mic that I'm using right here. This is an Electro Voice RE320. It's a broadcast microphone. That's why I use it to do my live streams every day, because it's a broadcast mic. But I've also used this to do voiceover before I bought my TLM 103. So I used this mic for years and was getting, work doing it with this microphone. But it also captured the noise from my family that was upstairs as well. So the microphone, the better the mic, the better sound recording it's going to have as far as being able to pick up sound. And this should also let you know that you don't have to spend $1,000 on a microphone. I always talk about in the range of around $200, you should spend on a very good mic, whether it's dynamic, whether it's condenser, or whether it's one of these, a shotgun mic. This is the shotgun mic that I have in my studio is an Audio-Technica BP4073. It's about $700 for this. But here's the thing, and this might make you think about the type of microphone that you actually want to use. And I think I've got a little issue here. Let me just double check my stream. And for whatever reason, I am unlisted, so I need to make that public. All right. And, well, can't stop the show, right? All right. So with that being said, you may want to consider, depending on the environment that you're recording in, you may want to consider having a shotgun mic. And I'm going to tell you why, that this may work better for you in a home environment than a condenser microphone is going to work. All right, for some reason this is, and pause. Okay, had to stop my YouTube play there. You see the end here. When you're using a shotgun mic, you're talking into this end of the microphone. It's a very small space, and it's going to only basically capture what's right in front of it. So the microphone, you basically want to have about this distance away from you, depending on whether you're using a pop filter, whether you're using one of these, screens or whatever. But that microphone is going to pick up what's directly in front of it. And that's the main thing you want to have happen. With this also, the reason why so many people use this in studios, professional studios, and maybe not this particular mic, but a shotgun mic, the most popular one is the one I'm maybe giving away, which is the Sennheiser MKH416. When you use this type of microphone, it has a tendency to cancel out anything that's not coming directly into the front of the microphone. That's why studios use it. That's why movies use this. This is a shotgun mic is normally that thing you see hanging on a boom, but it's out of shot, from the actor so that you can't see it. But it's directional. So they point it at the face of the actor to make sure that that sound is being picked up. That is what is making these microphones more and more popular, because of the small element that's in here as far as the surface that's going to record, as opposed to the condenser microphone, which has basically a much larger surface. You can kind of see the difference in the ends of these two microphones here, that I'm using. This is much larger, even though this is a dynamic microphone, but same thing applies. A dynamic mic, normally you have to point directly towards the person that's talking, but it's even better when you use something like a shotgun mic. Now, if you're in your basement or wherever, or a room in your home, and you're contending with noise, this may be something that can help you. This may be something that can help reduce that noise. Obviously, if you're using it in conjunction with something like I use, which is a DBX 286S, it's going to make it even better in regards to canceling out noise, because you can set the knobs to cancel the background noise out before it even enters into your DAW. But that's one of the things when I've been looking at the comments that have been coming in, the questions rather, about noise and things of that nature, ambient noise, the AC, the heater, cars, buses, trucks driving by on the street. Having a microphone that is made to focus in on your voice is a really good thing. Whereas if you have something like a TLM 103, like I use, or any condenser mic, your condenser microphone is going to have a very large element on the inside of it to record your voice. And again, it's going to pick up a lot of sound. I was amazed when I really first started getting into voiceover over a decade ago, and I would be in my basement and my family would be upstairs. I had to learn, okay, I'm going to have to record when they're not up. I'm going to have to record when they go out to go grocery shopping or whatever, because every little bump, and I have kids, so they're jumping around, they're playing, and what are you going to do? Tell them to be quiet or not play all day because you have to record or whatever. But those are the things that those of us that have or have had home studios have to contend with, is a lot of that noise from bumping from people upstairs to cars driving by. And a lot of times, if you're in a basement, you may not have to contend with like outside noise, but that inside noise you have to contend with. One day, and this was, oh gosh, this had to be early 2000s. I had to show my wife, because she just did not understand, we're being quiet up here. Why is this an issue? So I literally had to just let my microphone record the noise without me saying anything. And then after I did that, I didn't tell her I was doing it, but after I'd recorded about 5 minutes of basically the noise that was upstairs, I called her down. Listen, the microphones and what I do in voiceover, these are very sensitive mics. And so sometimes I may need, just give me 15 minutes and either take the kids outside or whatever, but I have to be conscious of it too. I've got a family, they have to live, so on and so forth. So it's one of those things you have to contend with. Now, if I had at the time a DBX 286S, actually I had a DBX 286A, and I still have that. It's one of the things I have in my rack, but you can't even get a DBX 286A anymore. It's the predecessor of the S version, but same exact knobs. The only difference is the DBX 286A is black, and you guys that have it know the DBX 286S is silver in color, or gray, or whatever you want to call it, in the front as far as on its face. But if you're having problems with that ambient noise from the street or whatever, having a shotgun mic may be the thing that can help. But it's also got to be in conjunction, I believe, and this is my opinion, in conjunction with the DBX 286S. In a home studio environment, especially if you're contending with noise, this may be the thing that can help. I put a link in the description to where you can see some suggested shotgun mics that I have in my store. So you can take a look at those. They range anywhere from about $125 up to obviously $1,000, which is the most popular one, which is the Sennheiser MKH 416 with that. So what questions do you guys have about what I've talked about already? And maybe let me know some of the things that you may be in contention with as far as getting a good, clean recording, whether it's because you live on a busy street or whatever. And I know there's different things, obviously, that you can do, and you have to kind of get over if you're recording, you know, and you hear a noise, you may just have to start again and record that line again, or go through and then edit that piece out that had the noise in it, you know, because there's all types of different things that can happen, from bumping the mic to you holding a piece of paper and the paper rattling. And that's why most times when I'm doing a recording, especially a long one, I don't use paper. I use my tablet, and I have a holder. I'll show you guys this. It's a holder that holds any size tablet. It can even hold my phone. So I use that most of the time when I'm recording, as opposed to a piece of paper. Because there's no noise with that, and I turn off all the sound, obviously, on my tablet and things of that nature, so that it does not, you know, arbitrarily get a Facebook pop-up message or whatever on my tablet. I just make sure all the noise is off on that. So in regards to what's the best microphone to use for voiceover, there's a lot of consideration for that, and you've got to take a lot of different things into account. One of them being, starting off with your recording environment. Are you in an appropriately treated space to do the recording? Where, or what is your environment housed in? Is it in your house? Is it in a room upstairs, the second floor? Is it on the basement? What noise can you detect with your ear already that you know may be issues? One of the things I contended with all the time, this is funny, was I was in my basement. So obviously all the HVAC is in the basement, you know, if it's wintertime, you've got the heat coming on. If it's summertime or whatever, you've got the air conditioning, if you have central air coming on. And so I get in trouble no matter what season it is when I was working out of my home studio. Luckily for me and my wife, I don't do that anymore. But I would turn the heat off. I would just turn the heat off so I wouldn't have to contend with the heat kicking in and the blower and all of that. And I could be downstairs in the basement, and this is during the day. Everybody's at work, they're at school, but I'm at home during the day, and it's like, I forget to turn the heat back on. So my wife would come in the house. Why is it so freaking cold in here? Did you turn the heat off again? I don't know why. So that was an issue. Summertime, in the basement, it's cooler in the summertime. It doesn't, in our basement anyway, it doesn't really get hot. It's always cool in our basement. And so I would turn the AC off. So people would come home during the summer and the house would be hot because I turned off the freaking AC so that I could record during the day. These are the things that we contend with being voiceover artists and working out of our homes, especially if you don't have a booth yet. And I say yet. All right, let me take a look at some of the questions. Voices by Storm is saying, a busy street is my backyard. Didn't want to spend the money on a booth so soon, but it's definitely helped. That was before I started reading up on shotgun mics. Aha, yeah. This can be a lifesaver for a home studio. Having a shotgun mic, and again, I say even by itself, but even better if you've got a piece of gear like a DBX 286S, and that's in the store as well. Again, the link is right in the description for this video if you want to take a look at some shotgun mics that I would recommend to start off with, especially if you don't have a big budget, but you might want to try it out. And the great thing about, buying it from the store that I have at Steps to Voice Over Success, if you buy it and it doesn't make a difference or you don't like it, package it back up and send it right back. There's nothing wrong with testing. And I know a lot of times people will go into a Guitar Center and they'll test out mics and they'll say, oh my gosh, this mic sounds amazing. And they get it back home and they use it and they don't have the same sound. Well, you're not in a booth. You're not at Guitar Center. You're back in your own environment. So even though what you hear at Guitar Center or any other audio store that you might go to purchase a mic, it's not probably going to sound the same when you get it home. It's going to be different because it's a different recording environment. That makes a heck of a lot of difference. So what I would suggest in a lot of instances, if you have like a small mom and pop that are in your area that sell microphones, maybe you can ask to borrow one to do a test. You might have to leave a deposit, something like that, or just purchase the mic, through the store at stepstovoiceoversuccess.com. And if it doesn't work better or whatever, just send it back and get your money back. So that's how all of that works. Yvette is saying, I'm using the Audio-Technica 2020. One of my favorite mics, by the way. I'm kind of biased to that mic. That was actually my first microphone that I ever used, was the Audio-Technica AT 2020. Love that microphone. I'm having issues with my headphones. I also use my tablet looking up. I finished my quiet room, which is working out better. Awesome. Okay. I don't know about the issue with your headphones or whatever. I can say this. I've got 2 pair of headphones and I have these in my store as well. Most of you guys, when you see me, I'm using my AKG headphones, the K240 studio microphones. They are semi-open back to allow noise in. And then I have a pair of Sennheiser microphones, the HD280 Pro, which are closed back, so it does not allow any noise in. And depending on what I'm doing, I'll do different ones. If I'm doing like a live stream, or you guys that see me talk to you on Skype, you're used to seeing me with the AKGs on because they allow noise in and I can hear, stuff going on. If somebody knocks on the door, I can still hear it with these. But if I'm in session or I'm listening to a voiceover piece that I'm trying to do, I want the closed back so that I don't get any interference by listening in through the microphone, or listening through the headphones rather. Let's see. Lazarus, random children playing outside at the apartment building. Yeah, that's going to be an issue because you can't yell outside, hey kids, shut up. You can't do that. Let's see. Yvette, I thought about using a different headphone or earbuds when recording. If you're having issues with the headphones, there's a lot of things that could happen or be a part of that. Could the noise be coming from your interface? Do you have the headphones up too high? Or is there something actually wrong with the headphones? Or are they cheap headphones? That's, so that could be an issue. Andrea is saying she uses the Rode NT. All right. Mage, how about recording or on-air light when your mic is open? You know what's so ridiculously stupid is that those on-air lights are like $500, like $200. Why is a light that much money? And I know some of them are fancy because they plug into your board and you can, hit a switch or whatever and turn that light on. But I don't know, put a sign on the door. I'm in a recording session or something. That can work. It's not going to work with kids. Kids think they're being quiet when they're not. If I look up, and I imagine myself still sitting in my basement right now, if I look up about 25 yards that way was the stairs and leading up to the kitchen. And so people would be pulling out pots and pans. All of that noise got in. And I used to say, if the door's closed, it means I'm recording. And so they'd be trying to be quiet. But if you're cooking in the kitchen, you can't be quiet in a kitchen. It's not happening. Let's see. Mage Pro, I have an issue with low frequency rumbles from AC heat that goes right through my booth. So I have to turn it off to record. Yeah, you may have to. Dealing with those noises. Let's see. Ben, I started with the 2020, upgraded to the 2035, like the 2035 too. I've never had the AT 2035, but I've seen it. I like its build. Use that for most voiceovers. Have a Shure SM7B, which I use for some videos and singing spots. Awesome. Like all of those mics. I was tossed up in the beginning because I was going to get an SM7B at one point, and that's when I was doing more internet radio stuff. That was the SM7B used to be one of the mics you would see in studios all the time, and then that was quickly replaced by the Electro Voice RE20, which is the daddy of this one. This is like the son of the Electro Voice RE20. This is a 320. Still a very good mic. Sorry, when I'm standing, the headphone cord is moving when I'm about to record. Yeah, that'll happen. Usually when I record, I don't have my headphones on. I use my headphones when I'm in post and I'm editing and processing and mastering. When I'm actually recording here in my own studio, I don't put headphones on. I don't see a need for it. I'm just recording myself, so I don't use headphones when I record. Let's see. Remote controlled from VO Essentials is less than 100. Scott, I have an on-air light. I think my wife paid like $50 or something. That's still too freaking much money for a freaking light. I don't care. It's $50 for a light. I have studio lights. One of the things that is in my studio are actual studio lights. They don't cost $50. And I'm talking about stuff that photographers use, the whole 9 yards. These aren't $50, you know? But anyway, I mean, it's your money, you know. Maybe when I get fancy, I'll get a record light. I don't know. Let's see. The RE20 is just a tad more directional than the 2320 series. Okay. Yep. All right, guys. Well, look, thanks for being here. If you've got more questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. Don't leave them in chat because once I go off air, I'll never see them again. So if you have questions or comments, just make sure that you actually leave it in a comment, you know, below the video, and I'll be able to see those later and come back and answer those questions for you if you have them. The thing about a microphone and recording space, these are your two biggest things. You know, what type of mic is going to work best in the recording space that you have. So many times I think we look at mics that other folks have and we get envious of, like an RE, you know, or a Neumann TLM 103 or Sennheiser MKH416. We get, you know, mic envy, you know, and so we want to have those mics, but those mics may not work best in your recording space. And quite honestly, you probably don't have to spend $1,000 on a mic. When you listen to a lot of the big names that are out there that have home studios and that do this, they talk about starting off with $100 on a mic and starting to get work, and then you get better as you do better. Then all of a sudden they get booths because they're starting to make money. But it's about what is going to work best in the environment you have now. The microphone that you have now may not sound as good maybe when you get a booth. You don't know. So it's all about the testing. It's all about making sure that you are using what's best for your personal space. That's why it is so hard to tell people what to get, because I'm not in your home. I don't understand the construction of it. I don't even know what it sounds like in there. So it's something that you're going to have to get very adept at understanding what's going to be the best setup for you. And that comes down to microphone. It comes down to recording environment. It comes down to, you know, the interfaces that you use with your mic, and also obviously your DAW and how well you're able to use that. I want to thank you guys for being here with me today. It's been awesome as always. And hey, I'll be right back here tomorrow, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, to talk to you guys once again. Don't forget, I've got links in the description if you want to check out some shotgun mics or any other type of mics or whatever it is that's in the store. Go ahead and click the link and see if you find something you like. You guys have an awesome and amazing day. I'll see you tomorrow. Love you guys.